What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 27, the big 2-7 of the War Room podcast. My name is Rob, looking handsome and fresh as ever, and this is my good friend Cheddar B himself, loving the Cheddar B hat. You've been rocking that a lot lately. Love it.
I mean, when you get older, you lose your hair, it gets thinner. So it's cold outside, need the hat.
I've known you for 10 years, and I've never seen you with hair.
Well, that's, that just hurts. I got nothing else to say to that besides, well, that just hurts.
That's fine. That's fine. You can come back with a fat joke later.
No, not at all. I mean, nothing to say. You're healthy.
I eat good.
In the neighborhood.
So are you guys the ones, are you offering the 16 mil? Is it you?
No. Oh, God, no.
Is that, it's you, isn't it?
God, no. For those of you that are curious on what we just jumped right into, me being a Buffalo Bills fan, this whole J.J. Watt magic is just fantastic to watch. But 16, we right now, I think, only have 2 million available before we start cutting people like crazy.
People are talking about the Saints for Russell Wilson. I mean, the cap doesn't matter anymore. It's gone. It's a myth.
I don't think it's us offering the 16.
I have a theory.
I mean, so do I and the Bills fans, but I'm interested to hear yours.
I think it's the Titans.
I can see it.
So here's why. And again, let's take the cap out of this for a minute, because it's we're seeing all these restructures and stuff, and it's so easily, movable for these contracts now. So John Robinson, the GM for the Titans, I think has done a really good job over the past couple of years. I really believe that. Last year, I didn't think of this, but you know how bad of an offseason the Titans had last year?
Oh.
Think about it. Isaiah Wilson was a first-round pick. We saw where that just went. Okay.
Not officially.
Oh, okay. You see where it's going. All right. You signed Vic Beasley to a pretty big deal.
Yeah, that failed.
You signed Jadeveon Clowney. Zero sacks. Like, that's a rough offseason, man. That's really bad.
And you know why it's all masked? They made the playoffs.
Exactly. So it doesn't really. I mean, I'm not gonna say it doesn't matter, but like he's gonna want to make a splash here. I think he's gonna want to do that. And honestly, I don't want to say that you can utilize Watt the way you utilized Clowney, but Watt in a front like that, man, you can use him inside, outside. You can kind of play him all over the place, and he's got to be. I'm still of the belief. I know he played a full season last year, and I love J.J. Watt. I'm a huge fan of his, but like. You got to use him as a rotational guy. You can't have him in all the time because he is not going to make it through the season. It's not going to happen. And you can utilize, and he could still get back to some phenomenal numbers, but you got to utilize him properly. And I think the Titans are a team looking to do that right now.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree. I think the Titans would be a great landing spot. But then, of course, me being a Buffalo Bills fan, of course, I want to see him in Buffalo for multiple different reasons. But the reasons that everything online right now is so funny. All the Bills fans, I'm actually okay with Bills fans right now. They're playing this new game that every time JJ posts a picture, they try to tie it back to Buffalo somehow. So he was lifting weights recently. So he posted a picture of like his squat rack and his 2 dogs. I'm pretty sure you probably saw that.
I just did, yeah.
Somebody zoomed in at the bottom of his weight rack. He has a blue 45-pound plate and a red 45-pound plate. And someone's like, it's Buffalo. It's like one of those things where it's like, man, he's eating wings. Buffalo has wings. Done. Buffalo.
Yeah, I saw that.
That stuff's hilarious. But I think a thing that I'm okay. Like, I don't think Buffalo can pay that type of money. But what I'm interested in seeing is once the Bills and teams start shedding cap space by cutting players, how many different teams are going to do a lot of one-year rentals? I could see the Buffalo Bills being in the market for a lot of one-year rentals. Not any big splashes, but a lot of prove-yourself type guys. And one of the guys that you mentioned is somebody that I was thinking about as a prove-yourself type guy, Clowney. Clowney going to Buffalo, a 1-year, $10 million deal. Come there, prove yourself again, then go get your monster deal somewhere else. Like, I would love that. I don't think he would. 10 million's way underpaying for him because he's going to ask for a lot more. But that's the kind of thing. Like, I don't see us getting Watt. If we do get Watt, great. Definitely love him rotational. Love him even sliding inside to D tackle. To just cause chaos that way. But we'll see. It'll be interesting.
So, and I totally agree. There's going to be a lot of one-year deals, and there's going to be free agency is going to be so much fun, man. It's going to be so much fun. There's going to be so many players available too with the cap going down. But something else I was looking at too, the 2022 cap is going to skyrocket. You're going to look at like close to 210 mil. So in theory, some of these free agents, like, and I wouldn't do this for Clowney, but like, let's use him as an example. You could sign him for 5 mil this year and then give him like 15 next year.
Yeah.
That's essentially a 2-year, $20 million deal. It's the same as 10 and 10, but like, why not take the less hit this year, have a higher guaranteed number, and spread it out over 2 years because it's going to go up a lot next year.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting.
I could see teams that are playoff bound. I mean, Buffalo's playoff bound, but like Kansas City is a perfect example. They're going to get a lot of veteran players coming to Kansas City again. They're going to sign deals that are like 3 years, 30, and year one is $1 million guaranteed, and then years 2 and 3 are the ones that are like the big money makers, just because they want to be able to play with Mahomes and do that. I could see the Bucs are going to do the same thing. I mean, you brought up a great point. So
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, outside of the JJ Watt, there's a lot of good rumors going around about Russell. I mean, is he going to be in a Raider uniform?
So
that wasn't a no. I was expecting a no.
No, because I've learned a lot from my glorious Harvard grad Raider fans over the past couple weeks. I don't think we have to go after Wilson because Carr is the worst quarterback of all time. So in theory, we can just spend $1 on you or me, and we'd win the Super Bowl. So I don't know why we'd go after Russell. Why do that when all we got to do is just get anyone else to play quarterback? Anyone.
I mean, plus you got the answer on your bench. I've been talking about it for the past couple of podcasts, so you don't even need. I mean, Nate the Great is there whenever you're ready.
No, he's better than Carr, so that's fine.
See, he's going nowhere.
By the way, this is sarcasm. Just for everyone listening. This is
new to the show.
Yes, absolutely. This is absolute sarcasm. I don't really think Nate Peterman is better than Derek Carr, although most Raider fans do because they don't actually watch football. So
and they never watched Nate Peterman play for the Bills.
In reality, though, I personally think that Russell Wilson being 33, his contract's up in 3 years. I think that kind of, basically he'll be 35 when that contract is up. That's an awkward time to sign a new agreement. I think that this whole thing is a push to get an extension for him, in my personal opinion. I would love him in Vegas. I think putting him behind our offensive line would be a dream because he's never had an offensive line like Vegas has. So I'd love that. I just don't think it makes sense on either side, though, for Seattle to trade him and with a $39 million cap hit year one, unless it's post June 1, and that won't happen either. I just don't think it makes sense. The Raiders' needs are clearly on the defensive side. Carr is not perfect, but you can absolutely win with him. I just don't think it makes sense to mortgage the house, even though, the first round picks that we haven't done anything with. So, whatever. I don't think it makes sense. I personally think if I'm Chicago, I'm doing absolutely everything that I can. If my owners let me trade future picks, I'm doing it because you're out of a job, both GM and head coach this year. If you don't figure out the quarterback spot, I'd do anything to get Russell Wilson if I'm Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely searching for that extension for sure. I mean, it's a different scenario than what Watson's doing, where he basically met with the coaching staff, and they're like, "We love you. You're our quarterback," and he's just like, "I don't care what your name is. I don't care who you are. I don't want to be here." So that's going to be a fun scenario to watch him sit out and lose out on all this money. But he's going to have to report at some point. He's going to have to do what Bell did. He's going to have to report and get his year and then be able to be gone. So
why can't Houston just ship him? Just do it. Get it over with.
Because the teams that are willing to offer him, I mean, this is just stipulation. The teams that are offering them stuff are AFC opponents. They want to send him to the NFC. So Carolina makes sense. Carolina just doesn't have all the pieces in place, but they're getting there. They're dropping everybody on the Carolina Panthers right now. They're cutting everybody left and right.
So 33 mil last week or something.
Yeah, I mean, it makes tons of sense for him to go to Carolina, and I think that could ultimately be where he ends up, but who knows? Who knows? But that's enough of current events. Football's over. Now it's time to talk about what we like to talk about. This week, it's the big nasties.
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about barbecue. My bad. Go ahead.
No.
Well, let me get my other notes up then.
I mean, yeah, clean your fingers off. Attaboy. But this week we're talking about offensive tackles. I neither of us from the ones that we're talking about are talking about conversions, basically, where it's a guard that could be a tackle, this, that, or the other thing. I mean, we have some flexibility with our players that could be put at different positions. I'll talk about some of the ones that I view, as well as, I mean, you're going to go over the ones that you had. But, I mean, if we want to dive right into it, we could definitely do that. I could start off where my first one is DeAnthony Smith. And I butchered his name probably, but he's
Jesus, you sounded so confident.
Oh my God, I sounded so terrible. And it's funny.
Question. Can I ask you an honest question?
Shoot.
Why, when looking at his name, what would make you say DeAnty?
DeAnty.
What would make you say that?
Deanta Smith.
It's not Deontay?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Seriously?
I don't know.
I guess not. Okay.
He'll comment back. Just let us know. Either way, just know that I love the way you play. I mean, you're 6'5", 294, and you could definitely bulk up, my friend. So when you comment back on this, I apologize. You're the man. I like the way you play. But he didn't play a full season this year. He got hurt, so he ended up declaring early. So he got injured in game 1 and declared early, but he did go to the Senior Bowl. So I know that may be a cop-out where people say, oh, I'm talking about a Senior Bowl, but I'm not. He's a left tackle. He can definitely bulk up a lot more, like I said. He's a waist bender and gets in a little bit of trouble there on occasion. I definitely think he's more suitable for the right-hand side. He's good when it comes to pass pro, but he gets burned by those speedy guys. So his sidestep is a little bit lackluster. But the thing that I love about him is he wrestled. I mean, he's got that nasty streak in him where all he wants to do is just pummel people. And that's kind of the trend that I have here with all of my players that I'm talking about. But yeah, I mean, super unique talent. It's going to be interesting to see where he's going to go. I definitely think mid to late rounds for sure.
I too really do enjoy watching DeAnty Smythe. Sorry, messed that up.
I like it.
Man, perfect fit for him. Definitely San Francisco for me. And the Shanahan line scheme, man, especially, man, if Mike Shanahan were still coaching, dude, he would be all over Smith.
Are you saying left or right?
The beauty of that, like when you're going like strict, like ZBS, he could do both. I personally like him more on the left. Actually, you know what? Here, and for one of mine, I talked about this too. I'm starting to try to veer from saying left and right, just because it's more blind side. Yeah, so let's say I like him more on the blind side for his athleticism. But if you already have that guy in a ZBS, you can absolutely use him on the right as well. The non-blind, sorry.
So
I like him. I like him. My first one, I'm trying to figure out how I can butcher his name, but it's kind of easy. I don't think I could.
I could do it. Which one?
Well, okay, so I'll try. I'll give it a shot. So my first one I'm going to talk about, when I first started doing this, was a sleeper, and now he's really moving up draft board, so he's really not a sleeper anymore. Walker.
Waker Lottle?
That's funny. Walker Little from Stanford. First off, I wish I had his brain. Let's start with that.
I don't like people that are like this, unfortunately. I apologize to him. I mean, he's a good guy, but you can't be smart and good at sports. That's just messed up.
Ryan Fitzpatrick has a degree from Harvard, and you're making $100 million in the NFL. That's not fair.
It's stupid. Just go cure COVID, bro.
But seriously though, he played left tackle in college. Like I said, incredibly smart. Dude is just educated beyond belief. He won a ton of awards basically for his studies, essentially. But 6'7", 309, dude has length for days. Great footwork, can stick with anybody. Identifies pass rush moves very well. He's a very polished pass protector, in my opinion. My concern with him is the run game. Right now, he's strictly a blindside guy. That's just right now. Obviously, he can improve. I'd like for him to work on his lower body a little bit, kind of generating a little bit more backward movement on the edge defender. If he can do that, he's going to be set. If he can start to get underneath the pads a little bit more in the run game and really start to move people back, he's going to be really, really good. But right now, strict left tackle. But man, he has pass protection down. Very polished. And man, with his brain, dude, he can just pick up these schemes real quick. I like him a lot.
For sure. I mean, as soon as you sent me over the people that you want to talk about, I texted you right back and said I love him. I mean, people will talk about waist benders and knee benders. So waist benders are when you get caught off guard and you get basically your entire 300-pound body moving off in the wrong direction, or your knees are bending, and you have a great solid base. And all the film that I watched from him, all the games that I watched from him, he was just a knee bender and was just in perfect position. Is he going to get beat on occasion? Absolutely. But his hand placement, his punch, his power punch that he jams up on those DNs, it was phenomenal. I definitely see him, like you said, blindside of it. So I could definitely see him at left tackle with most of the right-handed quarterbacks. And that's a team that I would look to draft him to, if you have a right-handed quarterback, he can be at the left side and he can man it for years and years and years and years and years to come. And if you get him in the second round, even better, because then you don't have to worry about the pay scale. But yeah, I definitely a stud, and another one of those massive human beings. I mean, dude's 6'7", so 6'7", 315, but he does not look it. When you look at him, he looks like a very agile guy, and his footwork is phenomenal. He's just got quick, choppy steps, which is just amazing.
Dude, the way you bring up knee bending, if he could just get a little bit more torque on the lower half of his legs because his knee bending is perfect. It really is, and his placement's perfect. If he could get just a little bit more torque to generate the lineman backwards, he's going to be awesome. He's going to be phenomenal. Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, going on from there, since he was a massive human being, the other guy that I want to talk about I'm going to talk about Spencer Brown from Northern Iowa. So when you talk about a massive human being, this guy's 6'9". So 6'9" is just gigantic. He's 315. He doesn't look it. He's a long, lanky guy. He has crazy athletic ability. The one thing with him is that he does tend to be a little over aggressive, where he tries to impose his will on the defensive line, which of course that's what you want an offensive player to do. But he plays to the whistle. And like, that's a thing that I love to see, is like, he just punishes people. So if you try to send a corner in and he's actually the guy picking up the corner, that corner is going for a ride. It's just like watching the Blind Side movie where he picked him up and threw the guy over the side. That's what he reminds me of, is him doing that. But it definitely could get him in trouble at the next level, where it's going to be a slight learning curve for him. He's going to have to figure out his body, grow into it, and he's going to get in a pro weight room and whatnot. But yeah, definitely want to see his form and technique sure up a little bit, but still all the tools, and just like I said, freak athlete.
Dude, man, you nailed it with him. Absolutely nailed it. He is a massive human being again. And we are going after the same guys. I found we want those killer mentality type guys, those maulers. You know what I mean? What I like about him is, you're totally right. He can absolutely be over aggressive, but he is so instinctual. Like, his instincts are so good that he can cover it up. You know, he might lean or bend one way too much, but then he just seems to know exactly where the defender is going, in which case he can just use his instincts and get ahead of the game to get to the spot that he needs to be. Also good footwork. Yeah, I like him. And dude, he's nasty as hell. Nasty as hell. I love him. He's gonna be really good. And man, his length is crazy. I think with him, you could use him left or right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely.
Sorry, blind or non-blind.
Yeah, you could sit him in behind a guy. I think he could be a great swing tackle in the future. He could potentially be a starter. You never know, but you could definitely cross train him to be a swing tackle both sides.
Absolutely. Now my next one, I couldn't really do this without bringing up a Cincinnati player, could I?
No, that's why as soon as I saw it, I was like, yep, makes sense.
I mean, what's the point of the War Room podcast without a Cincinnati player being talked about?
It's this year's crush.
Unreal. Jameis Hudson.
I like it.
James Hudson, Cincinnati. Another one, I'm not going to keep saying it, but all six of these guys that you're going to hear today are all maulers, fighters, whistle-to-whistle guys. But 6'5", 310. He was a 4-star recruit. He actually transferred from Michigan, which is funny. I've seen a couple of those guys. But he's incredibly raw. So this is not somebody that's going to come in day one and just start. He is ridiculously raw. However, I would argue that just from an athletic standpoint, that this guy is a top 3 athlete on the offensive line in this draft. Just athleticism. That's it. That's all I'm saying. There's going to be a good offensive line coach that's going to take him, and he's going to be an all-pro in a couple years. It's going to happen. A good offensive line coach is going to look at him as a blank canvas and just absolutely send him to greatness. He can play either side of the line, but I wouldn't move him around too much. I would kind of focus on one side. You could pick either one, I think, but whichever one you pick, I would stick with. I personally have him as a round 3 guy. But I would also have it as a goal to start him year 2. I would take the first year. I like to call it draft and stash. I would absolutely take the first year and just mold him into whatever you want him to be because he can do anything. So if there's a team out there that's in win now mode that can afford to take a project, he's got to be the one because you have a future tackle on either side of the ball or either side of the line, that will be with you for a long time. He has absolutely everything you're looking for in an offensive tackle: footwork, length, power, bend, everything. He's absolutely awesome, but he should not play in 2021.
I don't like that we agree this podcast a lot on most things because it's just not fun for me. But I mean, I agree. The thing that I wrote down about him was he's extremely raw. So his main go-to move is he always tries to do that power punch from that offensive line where he's just getting up on the guy real quick. And at the next level, that works when you're playing at Cincinnati because those defensive ends, you're going to get them off their pass rush. You're going to get them off of what they're trying to do. There are some guys, I mean, J.J. Watt's a perfect example is that can do when you go for that power punch, he just hits that chop and rip and he's a goner because his balance is off because he's really just trying to put all his weight and everything behind it because that's how nasty he is. But you teach him a little bit of finesse, and I know that's not a thing that we want to say with offensive linemen, but you teach him a little bit of finesse and hand placement and footwork more than he already has, which he's fantastic. He's good. He can be a stud. He can just absolutely be a stud. So, yeah, I mean, it's another one that we agree on.
That stinks.
Yeah. What about my last one? Do you agree on him?
I want to know what you say first.
Alaric Jackson.
What was that?
Alaric Jackson.
Okay, keep going. I like it.
Offensive tackle, Iowa, 6'6", 315. Another massive human being. He played on the blind side at college. I definitely see him going on the other side. I don't see him being a blind side tackle in the pros. He just he has all the tools. He just doesn't have the best lateral quickness. So that's my worry. Is the big thing in the pros that you need is your first step back when you're in pass pro is a big lateral step and shuffle. And I just don't see him having that. He doesn't move that well laterally, but he does have the size and the tools, and he's solid. He's a solid overall player. Nothing crazy I can say about him. Definitely think he'll go like 5th, 6th round. But he's someone that can be on your team for a long time. Not going to play right away unless you need him. Can definitely get in on special teams for like the field goal unit and whatnot there. But otherwise, yeah, just a developmental guy who can definitely possibly take care of things in the future. If that makes sense.
So obviously I like him because he's from Iowa. You got to love Iowa offensive linemen.
Yep.
I get it. Raider fans saying that after Robert Gallery. Okay, fine.
He was a stud.
Everybody thought Gallery was going to be a stud, so that's not fair. But anyway, I'm going to somewhat disagree with you, just because, and also, I probably should have went over this with you beforehand from what you said before. I personally think Jackson's better suited at guard. So my personal opinion. I think
I hate that.
I think a team with a zone blocking scheme again. I think he's better suited as a right guard for a team with zone blocking scheme. Physical dude. Honestly, if you ever look at like pictures of him, he's a scary looking dude. I would not want to like.
He's big.
I wouldn't want to bounce with this dude. No way. Like I said, just based upon his footwork and everything, and man, he definitely needs work. He's another one that's very raw. I personally think he's better suited as a zone blocking scheme guard, outside zone blocking scheme guard.
I mean, it makes sense. He doesn't have to do much with a giant step back laterally if he's a guard, so to say.
That's just kind of my opinion with him. I don't really foresee him as a tackle. I could be wrong. I mean, he's athletic enough that you can mold him, but I would just go other routes at that point in the draft. And if I were going after him, I would have him as a guard. So I apologize to everybody for our miscommunication and saying there wouldn't be any conversions here because we just kind of had one. But I will say, when we go over guards, I will absolutely have a few that are going to be converted tackles because I have a few crushes whenever that happens, just to throw that out there.
Makes sense.
My last guy is top. He might be my favorite offensive player in the draft.
He's still playing right now.
Yeah, he is.
Which is hilarious.
He might. But they blew the winning streak yesterday, by the way.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. I think he might actually. Yeah, he might be my favorite player in the draft. On the offensive side of the ball, Cordell Volson from North Dakota State. I absolutely love me some Cordell Volson, or sorry, Cordell Volson.
Ooh, I like Volson.
Volson is nice. 6'7", 312. Dude was an all-district basketball player in high school at like 290. And he averaged a double-double, 21 points, 15 rebounds a game senior year. Dude is straight nasty in the run game. Straight nasty. I could sit here and watch him for 10 hours straight, no problem. His intensity is unreal. I do not understand why people have him where they have him. I have a round 2 grade on him. People have him in like round 4, round 5, round 6. I have him a round 2 grade, and I'm going to bed that night like a baby, sleeping fine. He's going to be, again, straight up non-blindside. There we go. Non-blindside tackle. I would not put him on the blind side just because of his ability to handle, strength from the run game. Not the best lateral movement, but he can overcome it with his arms and body placement. Like, if given the right coach, he's going to be a stud day one. He will absolutely be a stud day one if put in the right position. That what do they call that? The lunch pail mentality. Dude loves football. And like I said, I have a much higher grade than other people. I have him in inside zone scheme. I have him day one starting at right tackle, no problems.
I mean, my favorite thing about him right now is he's playing. So, and I know that's weird, and everyone's like, well, you got to take care of your money. You got to do this. You got to do that.
He loves football, dude. He don't care.
North Dakota State's playing. I mean, he's out there playing. He's going to go right from this season to the draft, to a team, to playing again. Like, dude's he's a baller. He wants to play. And yeah, I mean, watching him in the run game is just fun to watch. He loves to just beat people up that's in front of him. I think the reason why the grade is so low is there's not really anybody that he was going up against in pass protection, and he didn't look as great as he should in pass protection. But that's not to say that they don't change that up and that he doesn't work on that. Because, yeah, I mean, they're going to have to. He's going to be interested. It's going to be interesting to see him go up against a speed defensive end or outside linebacker. That's the biggest concern with me for him. But everything else, I mean, he's got all the measurables. And the biggest thing that he has that I like is, like I said, he's playing. Like, he wants to play. He's going to continue to play. He'll play hurt probably. He'll play tired, hungry. It doesn't matter. This dude just wants to play football. He'll play if you turn the lights off. And that's huge for me. And that boosts him up a little bit in my rankings of a guy that I would probably draft.
I'm going to homer out here for a second. Team fit, absolutely the Raiders for him. Absolutely. You put him next to a guard like Gabe Jackson, and you put him next to a tight end like Waller or Moreau, who can both block and, obviously a threat in the passing game. He's going to be awesome. I just feel it with him. Love it. Love him.
If I had to take one from ours that we talk about, Smith would be my new right tackle for the Buffalo Bills.
Ooh, okay.
He fits the mold to Sean McDermott to a T.
I like that.
If you've wrestled at any point in your career and Sean McDermott, our head coach, finds out about it, you're getting drafted.
I like that.
But yeah, he would be our guy. But hopefully we can re-sign our right tackle and not have to worry about that.
I like that. And before we move on here, definitely not a sleeper. Jalen Mayfield from Michigan. If we're going to talk about brawlers and maulers and fighters, he has me, dude.
The fact that we've mentioned so many Michigan players on this, you would think that they would have been better. Like, even though we don't talk about the normal first round guys.
Chris Evans, this wasn't your fault. If you're listening, Chris Evans, this is not your fault.
Yeah, no, I mean, none of this was any of your guys' fault. I feel terrible. Like, we like these guys. That's why we talk about them, is because we think they could be fantastic pros. We think they could definitely be the sleepers and people that help people on the team. It's just, man, Michigan football as a whole, they suck.
But Mayfield, dude, seriously, he's won, man, end round one, even mid to end round one.
I was about to say, I see him, a lot of people are putting him end round one now, which is shocking to me.
No, I'd even say mid round one.
But that's what I mean. I think he should be mid round one, but I see somehow he falls end round one.
I just don't get how someone could try to argue that he is not a first-round pick. He literally has absolutely everything that you want. Everything.
What was it? Something that I read recently. Now we're going way off topic, but we're at the end of the show anyway, so we'll make sure that we finish off strong. But
barbecue? We talking about barbecue now?
No, but I heard somebody say that whatchamacallit, a lot of mock drafts are assuming that there may not be a defensive player taken in the top 10. I was like, holy crap. Like, I never even thought about that.
Really?
There's no corner, no DN, no D tackle going to go in the top 10.
Parsons might fall because the rumor going around.
All the linebackers are late rounds minus Parsons. Corners.
Farley?
He opted out, so it's going to be all on his pro day how he does. It was interesting. I was like, holy crap, there may not be a defensive player taken in the top 10. But while Rob looks at it.
No, hold on. We can go over. We're fine. I feel like is that possible?
That's possible. You got to think. How many quarterbacks are going to go in the top 10? 3, 4? Possibly 4. So that's 4 picks there.
I think Farley, right, is the only one, unless you have Surtain above him, but I don't know many people that would. Yeah. Holy Christ, that's crazy.
Weird, right?
Wow.
And
that's actually really possible. The one you got to think, though, honestly, if Denver doesn't get their quarterback, if Denver can't get their quarterback, you got to go corner, right? You have to at 9. Farley has to be the pick, right? That's awesome. I love that. Good work out of you.
Thanks. I try. I may not be able to read or write, but I can sure as hell remember a stupid stat like that.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Yeah, weird,
That's
right?
possible.
Never know. But
so does that mean that Kwity Paye can fall to 17?
Huh?
Does that mean that Kwity Paye can fall to 17?
Yeah, sure.
Please?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry, or Kwity Paye?
Yeah, no chance. No chance. But either way, make sure you guys follow along with us. Twitter and Instagram, both are the same. It's at @_War Room 33.
And if you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, talk to us a little bit. We're fun guys. Fun guys.
We try to be. Be. Well, until next week, guys, take care.
Have a good one, everybody.